What's up guys, Ivan here and welcome to Bass Tone Tuesday. Today we're comparing the Origin Effects Bass Rig Super Vintage against the Tech 21 YYZ pedal. I decided to do this video because these two are very popular pedals that allow you to get a really good overdriven sound and also really great clean sound as well. And for this video I recorded 4 samples, 2 played with a pick and 2 played with fingers. And something to keep in mind is that even though these two pedals get you some distortion, some drive, they have different features, they are different pedals, so we're going to talk about that after the samples. But just something to keep in mind that this doesn't have a DI out, this does, and it has a cap sim as well, so they are slightly different. And also what you're gonna see on screen are not the settings that I use. That's just for reference for you to know when I'm changing the units. So let's check out the samples. To me, both pedals sound great, and if I could only pick one of them, I would be happy either way. But here's when what I said before about different features comes into play, because depending on your needs, you might want to grab one or the other, or maybe both, but you might want to grab one first or swap them depending on your needs. And it is because of the different features. So let's start with the Super Vintage. The Super Vintage is trying to replicate the sound of a full Ampic SVT rig, meaning the amp and the cabinet. And for EQ, the controls are pretty much the same as in a real Ampic, other than there is no ultra low switch here. But the EQ section is the same. You have bass, mid, treble, and you have 3 different frequencies for the mids. And then all the EQ controls are pre-drive. So depending on how much you EQ, that is also going to affect how the drive is going to respond to your playing as well. There are a couple of things that are not on the amp. For example, the blend control, which gives you a bit more flexibility if you are running like really overdriven tones, because you can blend in a little bit of a clean signal. And then you have also a master volume, which is called output here, which is just a volume. It's not affecting the amount of gain or drive. It is just, either louder or quieter, which is pretty helpful if you want to really crank the gain, but you don't want to be like extremely loud. You can pull that back and you're good to go. Or if you're playing more cleaner sounds with lower gain settings, you can boost that up to compensate for volume. But in terms of sound, this is pretty much, a portable Ampic SVT. Like I said, it has a cabinet simulation. What's also cool about this pedal is that it has some extra features if you don't want to put it as the last thing on your chain. You are missing, however, the cabinet simulation in that case, because that is only present in the XLR out. But if you take the amp out, which is here, you get access to the lower portion of the pedal, which has a low frequency control, a high frequency control, and also a horn cut to match the sound of this pedal to your amp and cabinet, to allow you to get a closer sound to the fridge, the Ampic 8x10. So if your cabinet's too boomy, you can remove some low frequencies. If you have too much top end, you can cut using the horn cut or removing some top end here. So you get access to more tone shaping abilities. And overall, this is a great just one pedal solution if you want to have a portable rig, or if you want to use it as a drive pedal or something that you kick in to get some more Ampic-ish tone. Or you can also use it as an always on pedal and have that vibe the whole time. Now, the YYZ to me is more like a drive pedal, because the distortion sounds amazing on this thing, and it doesn't have an XLR out, and also there is no cabinet simulation. There is a roll-off to the top end and to the bottom end to make it sound more like a cabinet. But to me, the best results come if you put a cabinet simulation after the pedal. You get a more realistic sound and a bit of a less harsh top end. It works fine on its own, but if you can add a cabinet simulation afterwards, which I didn't do in the video because I wanted to feature the pedal as it is, with the cabinet simulation, to my ears, it sounds a bit better. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to use it as a drive pedal. I've played plenty of gigs where this has been my main EQ and my main sound for the entire show. I had it always on. So you can use it like that as well. Or if you want, you can just kick it in and out, which works extremely well. Also, the fact that you have a mix control for the lows, for the clean lows, and for the distorted highs, and you also have the tight switch, which really splits those two signals and lets you get a really, focused, sharp mid and top end, and then a really full, clean low end. To me, those are the features of the reason why I call this a drive pedal. It is really easy to get a full-on, raging, in-your-face kind of distortion, which has, for the bass rig, you might have to tweak a little bit more. With this, you can just get you can slice through a wall of guitars fairly easily, and it's light, it is compact, and easy to use. Like I said, there is no XLR out here on the pedal, so if you want to play live and go direct, you're gonna need a separate DI box. And like I said, I would recommend, if possible, to put a cabinet simulation after it. It is not mandatory, but in my experience, it does sound a little bit better and makes the distortion sound a bit more focused. But what you heard are the sounds straight out of this pedal, and they also sound great. So it is not necessary, but if you can, I would suggest you to get it. These two are great sounding pedals, and depending on what you need, you might want to grab one or the other. If you want to have that classic old school ampic sound, it's hard to beat the bass rig. It just sounds so good. It's easy to dial in, and you can go from like cleaner tones to really full-on raging distortion, and you have cabinet simulation, and you can also make it fit the sound of your amp using the amp out features. If you want more of a modern and really a distortion that slices through mixes, I would recommend you to get the YYZ. And I mean, if you can get both and really have a killer setup. So let me know in the comments which one do you like the most and why. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.